I'm about to share with you 5 secrets to powerful positioning for yourself, for your offer. Plus, I'm going to show you how to get clients to raise their hand and say, hey, I'd love to do business with you. Now, this is a Mailbox Monday episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, which means that I'm answering your questions. So today's question is from Pat. It says, Roy, can you offer any recommendations on answering the question about what makes me different, unique, etc. in a crowded market? And 2, creating effective, specific messaging to attract those ready to raise their hand now and or in the future. So that's what we are covering in today's episode. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. So let's dive into part 1 of the question, answering the question about what makes me different, unique, etc. in a crowded market. And I actually have five secrets, 5 tips, whatever, for you here. Your number one secret to positioning and differentiation is that solving their problem is issue number 1. So your prospect is coming to you because they have some problem, they have some challenge, they have some issue, they have something about their current situation that is not ideal, whether that's they want it to be better or they want to they want a positive change or they want to solve a negative. Either way, it's a problem. It's a gap between where they are now and where they want to be. And the number one thing, regardless of any kind of what makes me different, etc., in a crowded market, so many people, especially in my field of copywriting, I don't find that clients are like, oh, what's your unique selling proposition as a copywriter? They're like, can you write something that gets us sales? Can you put together a campaign for us that gets us leads, customers, sales, profits? Those big 4 things that every business needs, the big 4 results: leads, customers, sales, profits. They want that. And if you can get them that, it doesn't matter that much if you're unique. So solving their problem is always number 1 when it comes to positioning and differentiation. It is more important to be able to solve their problem than to be like, I'm the gimmicky, unique copywriter that's able to do whatever, right? So the number 1 thing about positioning and differentiation is that if, most people buy things because they want something different in their life. And if you can give them that something different, then they're going to be happy to buy from you. So, if your focus is completely on being unique and different, but you're not doing a good enough job solving their problems, it doesn't matter how unique and different you are. So that's secret number 1. Secret number 2 is you are unique. And this is especially relevant if you're running a client business, a service business where you're some expert service provider, such as the copywriters and marketers that make up the majority of my audience. You are unique. You are unique. And in fact, the more you lean into it being you that they are hiring, they're paying money to do business with you versus paying money to get the service done, the higher perceived value you will have. And so this requires kind of making yourself, just accepting the fact that you are a unique expert service provider and embracing the fact that you are a unique expert service provider simply by the fact that it is you and you have your own style and you have your own approach, and it is impossible not to have your own style and your own approach. And the more that you can embrace that, the more it becomes something where it is automatically recognized as a differentiating factor. So secret number 2 is you are unique. Secret number 3 is, what is your unique process? Or if we're talking about a product, what's your unique feature or ingredient or user experience, etc. So if you think about, what you do, there are all sorts of opportunities that to be just a little bit different, a little bit unique. I will say with the upcoming secrets that it's not just it's not just about a unique process. You don't necessarily even have to have a unique process. Like fundamentally what I deliver for clients is the same as what they're hiring other copywriters for. So if they're hiring copywriters for like a sales message, maybe like a video sales letter, an order form, traffic drivers, upsells, etc., like that, all that stuff is fundamentally the same, but there may be some differences in how I approach the process. And you probably have some differences in how you approach the process, just like by nature of your unique experience of life. And so, yeah, okay, really sitting down and mapping out your process of like, what is it that I do? What is it that I deliver to clients? What is the process that I go through to get them the result? Again, solving their problem. Solving their problem is number one. What is that process that I go through to make sure that their problem gets solved? And if you can map that out, even just mapping that out for them and saying, hey, this is my unique process, that makes you unique. Just sit down and brainstorm. What do I do to get them a result? What is my list of features? Which feature is unique? What ingredient is unique? What about my user experience is unique? How have I created something that is a little bit different by the nature of it being an original creation to me, bringing together all my influences? How have I created something that is a little bit different? Secret number 4, called nominalization. Now, this is really common in investment promotions where, I have about a decade experience working with the investment publishers. And one of the things that is like a tried and true method of selling stock promotions is to look at some old investment idea. For example, one really common one is the dividend reinvestment programs, where you buy a stock and it's often through like a special purchasing program where you're just buying it directly from the company or through a representative of the company, and they just reinvest the money back into the stock. When you get a dividend, they reinvest it back into more shares. And you can do this through traditional brokerage accounts, but you can also do it as a direct stock purchase from the company or their representative. And it can be a great way to actually accumulate wealth, to kind of have those sitting there and not even think about it in a solid company. And there have been copywriters who've taken this really old and very common program and basically rewritten a brand new promo around it and made it feel like a brand new different type of account. And all that is giving a new name, a new, let's say, made up name to this old program to get people excited about it in a brand new way. And arguably that's what so many of us do as marketers, as copywriters, as offer creators, is we find a new way to talk about something that people might have some preconceived notions about, it as a way of introducing them to this idea in a new way. So it feels like a new idea so that they can embrace something that's probably a great idea that they're ignoring because it didn't feel new and unique enough. So nominalization, give what you do a new name and use that as a way to get people excited about it and have it feel unique. And then there's the old Claude Hopkins trick: tell the story nobody is telling. So this trick is it's a reference to Claude Hopkins 100 years ago. Was given the assignment to sell Schlitz beer, and at the time Schlitz was like the number 5 brand in Milwaukee. And so he goes and he tours the brewery, and he figures out that they're doing all these really interesting things. Like they're pulling water from like thousands of feet below the ground and is going through this filtering process, and then talks about the entire brewing process. And he learns all about this process as he's touring the brewery. And he says, well, this is all really interesting. Why aren't you telling people about it? And the brewers say, well, it's what everybody else does. And Claude says, yeah, but I don't know. Like, as a consumer of beer, I don't know. And at the time, like, all these beers were saying pure beer, pure beer, pure beer. And he said, like, this is the process that you get to get pure beer, but nobody is telling the story. And so he told the story in his ads, and it made Schlitz beer the number 1 beer for decades. in the United States. Went from number 5 in Milwaukee to number 1 in the country, and it sustained that position for decades because he told the story nobody else was telling about how they got to this, what was essentially the same product as everybody else, but nobody else was telling that story of how the fundamental promise of pure beer was being fulfilled. Okay. So that's part 1, positioning and differentiation. The 5 secrets were solving their problem is number 1. And number 2 is you are unique. Number 3 is what is your unique process or feature, ingredient, user experience, etc. Number 4 was nominalization. And number 5 was telling the story nobody is telling. So let's get to the second part of Pat's question, creating effective, specific messaging to attract those ready to raise their hand now and or in the future. I'll go back to solving the problem is number 1. If you have confidence and competence in your ability to solve their problem through your product, service, whatever, through your offer, then that is number 1. To get people to raise their hand, they say, oh, this person has a solution to my problem. Okay, I'd like to know more, right? And so solving their problem is still number 1. The second little tip that I have here is that you want to put yourself in the mind of your prospect and say, how can I put what I'm doing in front of them in such a way that when the right person shows up, and this is as much about the prospect as it is about you, the right person, when the right person shows up, when you pay to have that right person show up, when you reach out one-on-one, when you have that right person show up through organic marketing means, through inbound, whatever, how can you, what message can you put in front of them such that the reaction that they have is, this is exactly what I've been looking for? And again, that comes down to solving their problem is number 1. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And if you can put it in front of them and have that solution that they've been looking for, the confidence and the competence that you display through your messaging is going to go, again, much further than the whole positioning thing. Like you don't, in so many cases, I think that as important as unique selling propositions are, they are highly overemphasized by marketers because it's like, it leads to this mindset of I have to create this like unique gimmick. Whereas if somebody just wants a solution, they just want a freaking solution. And yeah, at some point after you make it clear that you have a solution, or as you make it clear that you have a solution, it does pay to differentiate what you're doing from other people. But just being unique for uniqueness sake leads to just being kind of wacky. And you really need to be focused first and foremost on solving that problem so that they show up and they say, oh, this is the person that I've been looking for because they seem confident that they can help me solve my problem. And then what you need to do to get them to raise their hand is you need to make an offer and provide an opportunity for them to raise their hand. It seems so simple. I'm sorry. But it's so true that if you say, hey, I can help. Do you want to know more about how I can help? Get on a call with me. Schedule a call with me here. Go here, enter your information, schedule a call, and we can talk. If you do that and you have a legitimate solution to their problem, and they show up and they say, oh, this person seems to have a legitimate solution to my problem, then you just tell them what action to take, and they'll be like, okay. And like, okay, maybe not everybody, but a big enough percentage will, that it's going to be exactly like it's going to do the job that you're looking for here. Okay, so what do you think? That's my tips. Again, going back through the raise their hand thing. Number 1, again, solving their problem is number 1. Number 2, this is exactly what I've been looking for. You're trying to get the prospect to have that reaction when they see what you're doing. Number 3 is just put an offer in front of them and give them that opportunity to raise their hand. So let me know in the comments with this episode, on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable are you finding this and why? Let me know what are your insights, perspectives, action items, takeaways Also, tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you, and so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. Also, go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com to get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these episodes and exclusive content for email subscribers. And I'm also going to include, because this is really relevant, I'm going to include a link in the description with this episode to the Launch Your Client Business, the free mini course that I've put out. And what this is it goes through in 3 episodes in deep, like how to structure all of this. If you're doing this for a client business, a service business, it's completely free. It's, it will give you a roadmap for what you need to do to launch your client business. And all you have to do is enter your email address. And if you're not a Breakthrough Marketing Secrets subscriber yet, that will sign you up for that as well. So check out the link in the description to the Launch Your Client Business. And I'll also include a link if you would like to have your question answered in a future Mailbox Monday issue. It's at breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com/ask. And that's where you can submit your questions for these episodes. Again, my name is Roy Furr. This has been your daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim for 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I've delivered it here. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. See you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.